Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be Kislev led by Riz Otto facing off against the Dark Elves, who are going to be helmed by Claw here on the battle for Itza, so very close quarters map. Fighting gets going very, very quickly. And yes, this is the dreaded double Hydra player. So I played him a couple tournaments ago, and he used double Hydra against my Empire, and I really thought I was going to have an easy time with it. I was like, my Hawken long rifles are going to tear those things up, but no, the Hydras ate those bullets like champs. They grew some new heads, and he was able to beat me, and the Hydras really did quite a bit of absorption, which was very, very funny. So yeah, he's got a really fun playstyle and is a very strong player too, so great to see. Now, looking at our Kislev champion, it's going to be Riz Otto here. His front line is going to be warriors with a couple armored Kossars mixed in, and then we do have some basic bow Kossars, some with spears, some without, in the back row, which is honestly a fine choice. The basic Kossar spears are going to be good against Dark Shards because they have longer range, although it depends on if the Dark Shards have shields or not. That can change it, because then they can sometimes close the distance. A lot of it depends on the spatial control of the battlefield. But if there's, enemy like cavalry, for example, so Dark Rider repeater crossbows, the bows can shoot at them. And against Hydras, bows should be very, very good. We have a nice switch of Tempest, going to be dropping the Hawks of Miska on top of the low armor Dark Elf troopers, and a massive cav core of dervishes on the high ground. So it's going to be a lot of light cav, basically looking to compromise the mobility of the Dark Elves. But when Cold Knights get out, they're going to have some problems. Now, for the Druchii army here, it is going to be a Sorcerer Blade Wind, so a little bit of a Vortex with some AP on it, not a whole lot. Bleak Swords, Dread Spears, Bleak Swords, double Hydra with some Dark Shards. This man is a menace. And look at this, the forbidden combos have already begun. Using the Power of Darkness on the War Hydra to get the, because it damages the unit, but the Hydra just regenerates anyways, right? So he's like, all right, well, screw it. We're going to go for it. He's inspiring me to want to try Dark Elves. They're a faction that I haven't been too hyped about myself playing. I've played them in the past, and I always felt like it was repeater crossbow cavalry, those type of units carrying the game, but seeing the Hydras actually perform in a couple tournaments is very fun. Now, we do have some nastiness over here. The Action Ambushers will be very good against the Hydra. They have the Pack Trap, so they're going to be able to lock it down when it gets close and put some big hurt down. And now the mainline fighting is going to be underway, as the Dark Shards have taken up position on the far side of the hill here. And the Kossar line, is it going to be shooting at the Hydra? No, going after the Dread Spears. But honestly, you should Pack Trap that Hydra and just shoot it with all three of these archers. You could probably kill it before it even gets close or bring it down very, very low. We're going to see how well Riz here reacts to the situation. It looks like he's mainly focusing the Dread Spears, and there's the trap right there. So it's going to get locked down, and there they go. All these guys are now going to be turning about face. Some halberds are going to be sent in, and it's going to take a ton of damage. I guess it gets a breath attack, though. Very nice down the pipe. Yeah, that's why the Hydra is so much better than the Cryptus. Okay, so he turns around and runs with it, which is going to be saving it. I thought he might be trying to push in there, but he does manage to get away here, while the Hawks of Miska from Kislev going to be dropping it like it's hot right here on the Dark Shards, and doing some okay work. On the other side, the other Hydras coming in, and the Blade Storm. So using the Hydras to absorb the damage, and it's funny because it kind of makes you think you're ahead on value, but then the Hydras are just healing up, right, which is so funny. But yeah, man, brutal magic there. That Blade Storm did a hell of a lot of damage, and we do see the one Hydra running. It is going to be fleeing the scene, while a Griffin Legion is going to be surging through the middle, and I believe Cold Knights are on the way out, but they're going to be a little bit late to the party as the mighty Polish cavalry do get in there and lay the whooping down there on those archer units, which is what they're designed to do. So Dark Shards are broken here. On the other side, the Hydra and company going to be advancing into the Bleak Swords, and now we get some Witch Elves coming in. Now, Witch Elves against Kislev will rip apart Kislevite warriors, so it'll be a very one-sided fight. And against armored Kossars, they probably should win too, especially if they pop the Witch's Brew. But where they're going to have problems is dealing with heavy shot cavalry, as well as getting shot by missiles. That's going to be how you deal with that. So the Griffin Legion that was able to dispatch the Dark Shards is going to be maneuvering over and jumping on top of the Witch Elves here. And in the back, we do see Cold Knights finally being called out. So one Hydra being chased off the battlefield. Now that would be a very, very strong play there, obviously. But the Cold Knights might be able to peel this. And if this Hydra does rally, it's going to be able to come back, get a lot of health. And here you can see the Kossovite Dervishes are going to be using the Buyer Blood trait, and they are going to be trying to push it off the battlefield. We're going to see if that pays off here. They are going to be unbreakable for a little bit longer, and you can see Riz is going to be spam clicking right here on the Hydra to try and make sure it goes off the battlefield. It's pretty close, but honestly, I think that bad boy is going to rally, and that's going to be a big problem. But Kislev does manage to dominate this flank using their triple archers to really punish the position. Hawks of Miska has been very good, and the Kislev light cav has really been able to get into the bread back here as the Dark Shards do get hammered down. The Griffin Legion and the Kossovite Dervish, the mass mobility doing good. Claw definitely needed to call out Cold Knights a little bit quicker on in this game. Hawks of Miska activated here, able to break some of the Witch Elves, and the Hydras are going to have to put this game on their back, that's for sure. And is this Hydra going to be rallying? Yes, it is. It is confident. So it's gone through, it's had its insecurities, but now it's going to be back, and the Hydras have returned. So objective number 2 in the middle still belongs to the Druchii. Objective 1 belongs to the Dark Elves as well. Couple spears going to be maneuvering down, and the Hydra is still very much alive, sitting at about half health, but is going to be getting some spear support and trying to rip and tear there, as the Sorceress of the Dark Elves is going to be getting a beautiful Blade Storm. That spell is actually pretty good. I've been seeing it used quite a bit. It made a bit of a comeback there, as it is able to rip apart a very expensive Akshina Ambusher unit, which is going to be costing around 1,000 Gs, so pretty good stuff. So the Hydra and the Spears are going to be forming ranks over here, and the Hydra is getting a little bit fickle on leadership after eating a big shock charge from the Griffin Legion, and also eating some Kossar Bowfire. Cold Knight spam, though, will be very welcomed here. However, there are a lot of Kislevites that do have the Halberds on the field, so we see some Kislevite Warrior Halberds here. Yeah, a couple mixed up on the high ground as well. Nope, doesn't look like it. So, here we go. We do get the Griffin Legion trying to get the Hydra off the battlefield, but, you know, kind of the same thing that I went through, is the Hydras are palpatining their way back in the game. You're ahead by a couple thousand value, you're feeling very comfortable, but somehow he returns. In the meantime, the Ice Witch, getting down and dirty in combat, actually able to take down a Death Hag. Probably wasn't alone. I would assume it ate some firepower from something else. And another brutal Blade Storm coming in right there, going to be ripping and tearing as this battle really starts to heat up here. Now, a big thing is the Hydra going to be rallied? Most likely so, since Cold Knights usually beat most Kislev cavalry except Bear Riders, and we're not seeing any Bear Riders in play here. Kossars, these are not the spear variant, so they're going to get crushed pretty bad by the Velociraptor Cav here, so the Cold Knights are on top of them. Going to be trading very cost effectively, and now in the back we get Akshina Ambushers and Winged Lancers being called out. Another Hawks and Miska activated on top of the Bleak Swords. Does some okay damage, nothing too crazy. This Hydra is broken, but on the cusp of probably rallying here. This one has reached his healing cap. The other one still has a lot of room and is going to be looking to get a breath attack, as we do see another Blade Storm activated, and he is using double caster. Oh, interesting. So he's got the Power of Darkness on 2 wizards, which is going to be giving him extra winds of magic at the cost of its unit's health. And look at the Hydra breaths. Oh, yeah, man. Beautiful stuff. Those Hydras get a lot of work done in there, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so as we look around the battlefield, Kislev going to be holding on to Objective 2. Objective 3 looks like it's going to be flipping back to the Dark Elves, and the 2 Hydras going to be moving back onto the battlefield, while Kislev is going to be mustering its Rohirrim. The Dervishes and the Griffin Legion going to be surging to the high ground, but they need to be careful. Dread Spears coming in, Hydra's going to be intercepting them, and another Blade Storm activated there, and the Wolf Hearts is going to be ripping it up. So he must have Blade Storm on 2 casters, I'm guessing. Yeah, he's got it on both casters. That's how he's like machine gunning it out there. Winged Lancers normally don't want to charge into spears, obviously, but these Dread Spears were not so dreaded over here. They're very, very low health, and the Winged Lancers are going to be able to dispatch them pretty quickly, so you can see their HP diminishing, and the Bleak Swords will also lose that fight to the Winged Lancers, and we're going to see if it's going to be enough for Kislev to hold on. Kind of looks like it will be, with another Cav unit coming across. Now in the middle, some of the archers have reformed ranks. You can see the Kossar Spears here, some fresh Akshina Ambushers, and some armored Kossars putting a little bit of hurt down into the dreaded War Hydras. And this one is going to be breaking again, absorbing quite a bit of damage, but that value is kind of coming back a little bit. It's gotten, well, I guess it's been more or less the same, but the healing really is going to be playing a big part. Hawks and Miska on the Witch Elves is a brilliant play. Very, very good way to drag those units down. A couple Spears going to be moving up, and the Blade Storms continue to rip apart a lot of the Kislev backfield. But on this side, when the Winged Lancers arrive, they do manage to defeat the flank over here of the Dread Spears and Bleak Swords, and now are going to be surging in and trying to crush whatever they can. Supreme Sorceress going to be fleeing from the mass cavalry. And the Hydra's, ooh, that's very unfortunate for a Claw. The Hydra is running the wrong way. It's running to the edge of the map over here, which means it's not going to be able to be rallied most likely. If Kislev is paying attention, it actually gets a big heal on it too. It grows another head there. But Kislev is going to want to just put something on it, any sort of a cav unit, and it looks like Riz is going to be doing that, as the Griffin Legion is going to be surging that direction. Back here on this side, Winged Lancers chasing the Supreme Sorceress, and if they get us around, they can definitely do a lot of damage. You can see she immediately takes some shock damage here, and if she does get surrounded by the Winged Lancers, they will be able to kill that character pretty quickly. On the high ground, it looks like it is being contested. It is going to be a Dread Spear unit. Now, these are Dervishes and Winged Lancers. So if the Dervishes charge from the front to distract them and the Winged Lancers get a full charge in the back, they will be able to beat the Dread Spear, although he does miss the charge on the Dervishes, but at least has the charge coming in from the Winged Lancers here, which is going to do some work. They try and form ranks, but they are being attacked in the back here, so they're not going to be fully braced. Their formation is going to be broken, and that is going to be a slaughter, ladies and gentlemen, as the Dread Spears having a really bad time right there. Look around the battlefield, Kislev's taken over. One of the Hydras running for the hills, the other one is very low. We do see a Coldwind Chariot coming in, but the Coldwind Chariot will probably not be terribly impactful against the mass amounts of cav on the battlefield. The other Hydra is very low. Very, very fun game, kind of illustrating the comeback potential with these big war beasts, but Kislev had enough archers online perpetually that they were able to really punish them. There was like, 5 or 6 Kossars and the small arms fire and the ambushers. I mean, he had a lot of tools to deal with the Hydra. and was able to probably clinch the win with that. So a little bit of fast forwarding. I think this game's pretty over. Dark Elves might be able to gremlin on this side. We'll see, but Kislev looking very comfortable here. Also, a good illustration of Bladestorm. That's a really good showing there by Claw, showing us what's up with that. Dropping it like it's hot here, but Riz was able to take him down. He dealt with the Witch Elves very well. And honestly, Riz had some very good cab micro. He was able to rotate around the flanks, get into the Dark Shard lines, and really cause a lot of havoc before his opponent could muster the Cold One Knights there. So probably it's got to be GG, right? I mean, Kislev is up on points. We do see some Cold One cav coming out as well. They're going to come over here and try and help. And yes, Cold One Knights do counter these, but numbers are numbers. And at full health Griffin Legion, with a heroic character, just massively overwhelming his opponent, which is sheer weight of units, those Cold One Knights probably going to pay the troll toll. And now we see these guys advancing in, and Kislev does have a rock hard triple cap. Infantry being spammed out, but they're going to be pretty easy to run down for the cav, as the Cold One Knights do get dispatched. The heavy chariot also going to be taken down. Cav running some interceptions, and we do see 1,300 points creeping in here as Dark Elves maybe get this point back, but even still, really nice Kislev cav micro here, able to keep those guys in check. You see the Dark Shards in the back being intercepted by Light Cav, forcing out a Cold One Knight call in, and that is going to be all she wrote. Fun game for sure, man. That was a really good one. Very cool tactics on both sides. I love seeing the Akshina ambushers versus the War Hydras, which are super off meta, and somehow he makes them work. It's fun to see. I mean, historically, like Hydra builds and Charybdis are actually very bad, but Hydras are so much better than them because the Hydra, at least, it causes terror. Obviously, you don't get the leadership discouraging effect, but the regeneration and a breath attack, you saw how good the breath attacks were. Value 600 and 500, but mainly they were just damage sponges, the true distraction carnifex. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed that game. We'll see you on the other side, and that is going to be it for today.